Welcome back to the Streets Won't Forget podcast. I'm Dodzi and today I'm joined by Favour, special guest on the show, first appearance on the show. Unfortunately, the team he supports today didn't have the greatest weekend. Favour, tell us, who do you support, man?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. There we go. So, yeah, we'll get into that quickly. But off the bat, I'm going to start off Man United game. Now, the game itself was a steady game, 3-0 Man United. Everton had their chances, Man United had their chances. But we can only talk about one moment, Garnacho's goal.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. I mean, was that the best overhead kick you've seen?
it'll be up there with Rooney's and Ronaldo's. I'd say that. Um, I think it's very special, 100%. I don't think definitely is goal of the season. I don't think we can compete that. I think it's probably one of the best I've seen, 100%. He'll
Yeah.
be up there.
Nah, for me, I can't remember in recent. I think it's better than Rooney's because the
Is it?
connection was cleaner. I know Rooney's was a bigger stage. It was the Manchester derby. It kind of gave him the edge in the league. But in a way, I think this is a mad goal because to do that at 18, 19, away from home at Everton, silence the crowd. Like, bro, one thing I'll give Garnacho is he's got the stardust, man. When he wants to, bro, like he's got the feeling of a big player. He just needs fine tuning. But for me, yeah, man, that goal was crazy. If we're talking about best overhead kicks I've seen, I've probably got to talk about Ronaldo's goal against Juve, Gareth Bale's goal, Emre Can's goal. I don't know if it was better than them, but yeah, goal of the season definitely. And bro, do you rate Garnacho? What's your in general, like how do you see him?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said. I think there's potential there. I think very much so he can be special. I think with any young player as well, inconsistencies come. I think probably United right at this moment, not the best for him, but like today showed, he's obviously a special player that can go far. I think without a doubt, he has that kind of raw ability and that arrogance that I think a lot of players need. Um, and yeah, there's no reason why he can't go straight to the top.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. And then obviously second goal, Rashford scored that goal. Now word on the street, yeah, that Rashford's back with his girl apparently, bro. So hey, invest in Rashford stocks now, bro,
It's
because when
it
he
seems
was
to be
doing
coming
well
back.
last season, bro, he became the best player in the world, bro. So
Exactly. That's the
so
thing. I think now he might be coming back, especially after because I know these times he got picked by England over Sterling, which is obviously something else that we'll discuss. He must have seen that and been like, "Alright, cool. I'm gonna show you why I'm there." Do you know what I'm
nah,
saying?
honestly,
Rashford
must
is
be mad.
Rashford.
I mean, it was only a penalty, fairs, but it was a decent penalty. But I'm saying, I'm hearing he's back with his girl. So, guys, invest in Rashford stocks now, man, if you haven't. But to be honest, apart from that, look, Man United beat Everton. They should be doing that, right? So, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the top four slash title race. But we'll start off with your team, Chelsea, man, because obviously, first Chelsea fan of the show, which is crazy. Yeah, man. I was quite in on you guys. After them two games, it was actually after your game against us. That was when I was like, you know what, Chelsea are a decent team, man. Like they haven't got finishers up front, but the way they play, like they're an issue, especially in these big games. So I was surprised yesterday when I saw that scoreline. I mean, did you? What happened in the game, man? What happened?
It's I'd say it's typical Chelsea. To be fair, I think obviously when we look at let's say the Arsenal game, the Tottenham game, even the City game, we go gun for gun, let's say, with teams like that. But I think when it comes to teams that, for example, Newcastle were killing us with long balls, and we could not handle that. And I think when we face teams like that or teams with low blocks, Chelsea just they don't know how to like let's say break it down. It might come down to inexperience, it might come down to the tactics, but I think when it comes to more open play, yeah, that's when you're like, okay, cool, maybe Chelsea might be back. But when you look at it, we've lost to Brentford, we've dropped points where we shouldn't have dropped points, and then against the big teams, we've actually performed. So I think that's down to we can't break down teams, and obviously, yeah, we like that finisher. Yeah, Jackson's inconsistent. He's there and then he's not. Same with Broha, he's been injured, but I think we do like that. Let's say finishing instinct.
Yeah. Would you know like your best front three at the moment? Or in fact, when Nkunku comes back, what do you think is going to happen? Because obviously you can't drop Sterling right now, and Cole Palmer as well looking undroppable. Um, then the thing is, he's not like a out and out number nine, is he?
Yeah,
So
that's the thing.
And then
I
your
think
midfield at three seems quite. I know. What's his name? Caicedo didn't play yesterday. Was it Caicedo who didn't play?
yeah,
Or yeah,
but,
Caicedo didn't play.
yeah.
So
Caicedo didn't play. Yeah, it was
yeah, what
Enzo.
would you do when Nkunku comes back?
For me, I think Nkuku is obviously not an out and out striker, but I think he can play that false nine as well. And I think if we looked at preseason, for example, obviously I know right now the midfield is settled, but I think the player that might actually give way would be Gallagher. And the reason I say that is I think Enzo and Caicedo, Poch will give him patience, especially when it comes to it. And I think Nkunku might be that missing link in terms of with the back, let's say the back two and then the attack. I think striking wise, because of the inconsistencies, I won't be surprised if Poch actually plays Nkunku up front and keeps that midfield free. I think that's the only position where it's up for grabs. I think with wing, I think Sterling's performing right now, even though he's 50-50 at times, but Sterling. Palmer, I don't think you can drop Palmer. So I
Yeah,
think Nkunku is more going to either be up front or replacing Gallagher.
you don't think that's a bit harsh on Gallagher? Because when I've been watching Chelsea this season, I'd say he's been better than Caicedo and probably better than Enzo. I know Enzo's had his moments. I think people go a bit overboard on him. I think you know, because he was a record transfer, people like to like bring him down whenever they can. But I don't know. When I've watched Chelsea, I think Enzo's had his moments. He's definitely got his flaws.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should not say as harsh on Gallagher.
100%. I think it's harsh on Gallagher, but I think we have to factor in the fees as well. When you're spending 200 mil on the midfield, I doubt you're going to drop either Enzo or Caicedo. And unless it's a new manager that comes in, I don't see Poch dropping either of them. Yes, they haven't been great, but I think they've done decent. Obviously, doesn't justify their price tag, but I think if we were to drop out of those three, I think it'd be Gallagher, unfortunately. And I think Gallagher, he will perform as well as an impact sub. I don't know if it's something he would obviously want. I think he can obviously start, especially with middle half of the table and things like that. But I do think when Nkuku comes back, I think he might be the one that would be unfortunately dropped.
Yeah, crazy man. Because I know Gallagher's even been pushing. It's people have been saying he should start for England now. The way he's been playing,
Yeah,
but
he's
I
been.
hear it, man. I think if you go for overall quality thing, you like to think that Enzo and Caicedo do have more quality, and then Nkunku's your marquee man, so you can't leave him out.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
think maybe there's a potential that Jackson could come out for him, but I don't know. Jackson does quite a lot of good work for you up top, despite his finishing. I feel like he does quite
yeah,
a lot.
that's the thing. And as well, Nkunku is not like an out and out striker. So then in that comes the thing.
Yeah,
If the service isn't coming to him, there's going to be scrutiny because already he's not,
yeah,
he's been injured for the whole season. Everyone's already saying when Nkunku's back, when Nkunku's back. So he's already going to have that kind of pressure. And I think Poch is either going to put him, let's say, in that middle, like behind the striker, not put him up top because I think the pressure of they're going to be expecting him to score, they're going to be expecting him to assist, which isn't going to happen straight away. But I think he's
mm,
going to be eased in, and I think maybe in behind the striker is going to be the perfect place for him to slowly integrate himself before seeing if he can actually play that false nine role.
yeah. Maybe other area of the pitch, I was shocked at a couple of your defenders as well, man. I can't lie.
Um, yeah, that's the thing. Is like, especially Thiago Silva, yeah, legend of the game. He has his moments when he's great, but I think at the same time, probably playing him in that match probably maybe wasn't the best to do. I think the Sarsi's
Really?
been playing quite good.
Yeah,
I think Badiashile as well. He's just coming back from injury, so maybe he shouldn't have started. Maybe it should have been the Sarsi and Silva. But at the same time, if it had gone through, they had won, we wouldn't be saying this. So at the
yeah.
same, I do think 39 playing in the Prem, he's good, but I think there's some matches he probably shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's hard to call it though because he's one of your leaders, so
That's the
that's
thing.
a hindsight comment, I guess. But and that's one full thing about hindsight. You look back, you're like, maybe he shouldn't play.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, I don't know. I feel like you've got a decent record against Newcastle. So when saw that scoreline, I was shocked to be
I
honest,
think
man.
it's just inconsistency, and I think we will probably get tired of saying this all over the season. But I think it's because it's just a young squad.
Mm,
A lot of players are new there, and obviously everyone looks at the price tag. Yeah, we paid like a bill so far, 1 billion on players. So obviously everyone's expecting title challenge, blah blah blah. But at the same time, we have to factor in these players are like 22, 23. I think the oldest was Nkunku, who's 25 or 26. So yeah, it will take time. It's a process.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I still got a few stocks in Chelsea. I don't think. I think you're gonna have a rocky season this season. You know,
100%.
it might not be a great finish, but I compare it to Arteta. To be honest, when he had those two seasons coming eighth. I think that's what you lot are going to have. It's just whether you guys have the patience to stay with Poch, which I think you will. because like getting rid of Tuchel and Potter, who you invested loads into, I think you can't keep doing this thing. The
That's the
typical
thing.
Chelsea merry-go-round of managers. So, yeah, man. Nah, we'll see with you lot. We'll move on to another. We'll move on to the top of the table clash, right? City against Liverpool, right? Can't lie, I was looking forward to this game, yeah. And it started off alright, to be honest. There was a lot of quality in the first half. Second half died, man. But I don't know with City this year, yeah, it's a weird one, bro. I think Kevin De Bruyne out's massive, and without him, they're lacking killers, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously, Haaland's a killer, but like outside of that, I don't know who's gonna get me the goal for City. Whereas before, I knew Mahrez would probably get me a goal. Like I knew, I don't even know who else. Gundogan as well probably pop
Yeah,
up
good
with a goal or
ones.
something like that. So I deep. I was like, City are quite weaker this season, man. Would you agree with that for City? I mean, Doku's doing well, but he's not got the, let's say, the goal scoring touch yet that
Yeah,
Mahrez. And they sold Palmer as well, which more and more I look at that, I'm like, I'm not sure if that was the right move. But yeah, how do you see that game? And do you agree with that? What I said about City kind of lacking that killer instinct?
yeah. The thing is with City is that they're a weird team in terms of the fact that I remember last season they weren't, let's say, that great per se, and then final matches they started winning out of nowhere. So that's the thing, you can never rule them out. I do think, yeah, this season they are more, let's say, beatable to a certain extent. I think teams aren't as afraid as maybe probably past seasons where you'd have Aguero coming in out of nowhere. Obviously, don't get me wrong, Haaland is still there breaking records for fun. But I do think, like you said, De Bruyne is a very big miss. I think you look at it, who else will provide the goals? Rodri comes out here and there to score, but it's like, apart from Haaland and maybe Alvarez here and there, it's very difficult to see who would. But then at the end of the day, City, I think come near the end of the season, they're still going to be up there. They're probably still win the league, in my opinion. I think they do have all the tools, let's say, in terms of Guardiola being there is a big factor. And I think come the end of the season, they'll probably still win it. But right now, it's difficult to say if they're strong or not. I think
Nah,
watching a lot of the
I agree.
matches, last season City or previous season City, let's say, would kill a lot of teams off. I think Chelsea wouldn't have even gotten four in the first place. It would have been
Yeah,
done and dusted by then.
yeah, exactly. And even
So
seeing City concede four in a game is
that's what I'm
like
saying to
that
Chelsea.
is
And we're struggling to score in the first place. And then it's
exactly.
like a 4-4 scoreline. So, yeah, I do think it's different. But then, yeah, come the end of the season, they'll probably still be top two, probably win it as well.
I think it's so psychological with City at the moment. I think a lot of teams really could do something to them.
Of course.
But Etihad's a fortress now. Like Liverpool had so many decent spells in that game where they could have gone in and scored. But Nunez, we saw the difference between him and Haaland at points yesterday. They had similar chances, and Haaland scored his, and Nunez
Yeah, I'll
flushed
never
it.
forget the FA Cup. No, that was the Community Shield when people were comparing Nunes
Yeah,
and
Community Shield. Even I was kind of guilty of that, to be honest. Looking back, that's a terrible. It's funny in that game, Haaland had that miss in it,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he started laughing, bro. He knew.
He knew it. He was like, say no more, don't worry.
Yeah, literally. Nah, it was mad. He knew. Nah, look, still obviously a quality team. I don't fault much of their team, to be honest. I do think their midfield is a little bit light now. If they're going to play Alvarez at 10 and Bernardo Silva and Rodri, I don't think, if you think of legs, I think teams can get at that. And I think that's why Chelsea had a lot of joy last weekend.
Mm.
Um,
What's your opinion on Foden?
Foden, you know what, man? Foden's clearly technically like you can't say anything about him technically. He's clean, man. My thing is, I don't actually know what his game is, man. Is he an assister? Is he a final action player? Is he a midfielder? I don't know, man. For me, he's just looking like right now a very technically clean player, and like Arsenal used to have loads of them. Guys like Hleb, Rosicky. Honestly, Foden's looking like that to me right now at Man City. I don't think he's a fraud or anything like that. Genuinely, he might be slightly. I don't know. People might just have different expectations of him, or he's not found his position. To be honest, I think that might be the issue because it's been a long time since I've watched Foden. He shined really. I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie. Like the last time I can remember was probably like a game against Liverpool in like 2021 where he scored at Anfield. That's probably the last time I watched Foden for. yeah, this guy's absolutely shining. I know he had a good game against Newcastle this season, but if you ask me my opinion of him, I think yeah, right now he's just a very technically keen player who doesn't really know what his game is, to be honest, man. And we're gonna come to the England squad later because I think he's an interesting one. To be
Yeah.
fair, he's an interesting one. But what about you, man? What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, like you said, I think technically, yeah, he's there. I think he's a good player, don't get me wrong. I do think, similar to you, I'm not sure what he's, let's say, a master in, which is okay. Yeah, he is young. We do forget that, but at the same time, I think a lot of the, let's say, hype around him or things like that, I think they've been misunderstood. Um, I think he hasn't had many. Okay, you'd be like, okay, that wow, that's a player, but okay, yeah, he is a player, and then you have to factor in: is it because of the tactics he's playing in? Is it because of Guardiola? Um, what is his ceiling? And at this point, I don't know what his ceiling is per se. I don't know if he can actually take a step from that good player to world class, or if he's just gonna remain as a technically sound player.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, Foden's playing like in City's front three, and he's at no point was I watching him in that game thinking he's gonna put up with a goal. It's a big issue. That's why probably people say he should be a midfielder because he's been asked to do forward stuff when that's just not his game. And yeah, the point about his ceiling, I agree. I'm not really sure, man. Obviously, he had all the media hype after the under 17s World Cup that year. Obviously, Guardiola said some mad things about him as well. I think he said like he's one of the most technically best players he's ever coached. But then I'm just watching him and I'm just like, I could, you're lying if you say
Yeah, yeah.
Foden's a player in it. He's obviously a baller, but like,
You're trying to
bro,
figure out what type are you? What are you in essentially?
yeah, exactly. Which is why, look, on last week's podcast, I asked, like, guys, who's better, Foden or Palmer? And everyone was like, how is this debate? Foden's done this much, but at least with Palmer, I can see his I can see his evolution. I can see him
Yeah.
molding into a player that like Mahrez was, to be honest, cutting on off the right, scoring, being a creative winger. He's kind of a similar player in terms of profile to Saka to me.
Mm.
But Foden, honestly, like, no idea, bro. I'll be real, no idea. And I don't know whether he needs a move, which sounds mad. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it's Guardiola not trusting him. Because Kevin De Bruyne's out now, yeah. And this was supposed to be his period where he was really gonna stamp his mark, and he had that amazing performance against Newcastle earlier season. But I don't know, man. He's just been a bit average since then for me. So I don't know. Weird one with Foden. Weird one, man. But yeah, overall City, yeah, still favourites. I think Liverpool. I think we got to start taking it a bit more seriously now.
100%.
Um, everyone's writing them off like they're not going to challenge for the title this season. They've gone everywhere and won or draw. Only loss they've had was the most dubious loss of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Like, do you rate Liverpool this season? What are you fancying their chances?
I think 100% they'll finish top four.
Mm.
And I think obviously with the way the league is, they'll 100% still challenge for the league. I don't know how far. I don't know if it gets past maybe let's say March, April times if they're going to drop off. But I do think they'll challenge. I think they've built up results, which is funny because on the face of it, you probably won't think it. But then when you not actually look at their stats, look at where they are in the league, for example, you see, okay, yeah, they actually should be taken seriously. I think in a way, they might finish third. I still think they will finish behind Arsenal, but I do think they should be taken seriously.
So you think we're stronger than Liverpool? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will finish ahead of Liverpool. I
Mm.
don't see Liverpool finishing ahead of Arsenal, in my opinion. I think obviously, yes, it will still win it, but I think Liverpool will still fall off to the point where they finish, let's say, third.
I'm interested. Why do you think Arsenal are stronger?
I think we need to factor in as well. I think Afcon's also going to come up this year, next year obviously, and that's Salah gone, and I think that's a big part of Liverpool as well. We've started to see some errors we probably haven't seen with Allison in terms of when we look at last match as well. So I think they're not as, let's say, astute as they were beforehand when they challenged City when they won the league per se. I think Arsenal they're they're the same as last season to a certain extent, but at the same time they're different in terms of they're still getting results. Like for example, yesterday, I do think they've learned to a certain extent from last season's drop off. Whether they can continue that consistency and finish higher, let's say, compete for with City longer, it'll be to see. But I think they will finish above Liverpool in terms of that. I think they have that still, and I think Liverpool losing Salah for a month plus will be a big difference. I think.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And yeah, you make an interesting point. Like we're similar in parts from last this season to last season. But I'll say one thing we had last season, right? We had fast starts, man. I remember first 15 games, I think we had the record for most goals scored in the first 10 minutes or something like that. And then I was watching the Tottenham game today, yeah, and I'm seeing Tottenham have this mad start, bro. Like first 5 minutes, yeah, they've literally had five clear cut chances, and I'm thinking this is mad because Tottenham have Van der Ven out, Romero out, and Madison out. I'm thinking against Aston Villa, how like it's gonna be a tough game. They have this fast start, and they had this fast start against Chelsea, and they've had I can't remember who else this season, but Tottenham have been fast starters this season.
Mm.
On one hand, I'm looking at Arsenal like, why are we not like how we were last season? But I'm starting to buy into a little bit the whole thing of we're trying to get more control because watching that Tottenham game, I was like, nah, look, they have to take these chances. Because I knew Villa were just going to go back into it. So my overall point here is those teams who start fast, man, like,
They
it's
don't.
not all promise, bro.
Exactly.
It's not
Look
all
at it.
promise.
Tottenham lost. So
Yeah, they literally lost. Literally after that fast start, they didn't really look like scoring much again, apart from Son being offside all the time and scoring. So that was an interesting one. Did you catch that game? What did you think if you caught it? Or
yeah, what's part of it? I think with Tottenham, it's like they've done so well so far. But I do think if they're going to stick to that same, let's say, routine, for example, playing 9 men and playing that kind of high line they played against Chelsea was insane, regardless of the plaudits they got. So
oh,
I
what
think,
was
I think with the league, especially Prem, you have to be adaptable because if you don't, teams are going to realize that so quickly, and you're going to find it difficult. I remember when Sarri was with Chelsea, and every 60th minute or so, he would bring on Barkley for Kovacic or for Kovacic for Barkley, and it was very much predictable to a certain extent. Obviously, with Chelsea, they don't have patience for managers, but it's like he got predictable, and if you don't change it, teams will find out so quickly. And I think that's the thing with Tottenham; they're learning quite quickly is that you can't have that whole gung ho attitude towards the whole 90 minutes against every single team because Villa's a quality team and they punched them today.
Yeah, literally, quality teams will just find a way to get back into it, and they've got a quality manager as well who will do tactical tweaks. And yeah, Villa eventually got their win. Big win for them. Only 2 points off us at top, which is
It's
bro, that's mad.
the league is mad. The league is.
It's mad. We have this every year. There's one or two teams, and they're around the league, they're around the top, and you're like, hey, they're
Why?
not going to stay there, are they?
Yeah, of course.
But
That was like Brighton last season.
exactly, Brighton last season, and to some extent, Arsenal at the top. We're like,
Yeah.
Arsenal stay at the top, and obviously came second. But Villa, do you think Villa are actually going to maintain this form throughout the season?
No,
No.
no, I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I think similar to what you said, you're always gonna have the one of those teams that are like, okay, yeah, they're there for now, and then I think come Jan Feb, it's going to be different. I think yeah, they're doing really well now. They'll probably finish top seven, top six, but they won't make top four. I'll be surprised if they make top four, in my opinion.
Now I'll be surprised as well. Simply because the other teams are just better in terms of
Yeah,
quality. To be honest, man. They're doing very. They've got good players like outside of Watkins, Diaby's good. Pau Torres, that's a seasoned centre back.
yeah,
Consa's playing well, but yeah. Also, I do think football heritage is massive as well. Um, that's why Man United are still about, man,
exactly.
because they've got that big name on their shoulders, bro. They can't really be coming eighth or ninth. I
Mm,
mean, yeah, look, them only 5 points off top, which is crazy to think of, or 6 points, maybe something like that. But yeah, we'll move on quickly to Arsenal now. Arsenal, my team, went top, and there was again another slugfest, man. I'm watching Arsenal these days, and it's not entertaining at all. I'll be honest, but we are top of the league. Kai Havertz, your boy Kai Havertz,
hey,
finally delivering the goods for us. Great header, to be honest. Actually, honestly, for me, that's him around the box,
that's a
hold it
strong
up,
point.
get some headers, man. Like you're 6'4", like just please be useful in that area. I don't want to see him picking the ball off the centre backs and turning and just passing it back to Gabriel. I don't want to see
He's,
him.
he just
Yeah,
don't
he's
look
actually got a bit of work rate. To be fair, he breaks up play, but didn't sign him for that reason.
left back.
Yeah, left back even. I mean, he's becoming one of the weirdest players of all time. I couldn't believe when he played left back and scored. Like
he's
weird player.
Yeah, he's one of those confusing players. Even when he was at Chelsea, he'll have like a purple patch. Well, I don't know if you can call it purple patch to be fair, but he'll have a good game or two, and you're like, okay, we see the potential, and then suddenly he just falls off. And I think you man will experience it. Don't worry, you're experiencing it right now. Let's say, but he's a good player, but he's a confusing player. Like, I don't know if he's going to go on to be better than he is now, or if he's just going to be one of them players that are going to go Union Berlin or something like that later on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I hope he gets better. Like after that goal, I had that feeling. I'm sure you've had it after certain Havertz goals, where it's like this might be him now. This might be his
Champions
big
League.
break. But as you said, you've experienced the whole Kai Havertz saga, so I don't really want to get too ahead of myself yet. Um, but apart from that, yeah, steady. Ramsdale was looking a bit shaky. He's obviously lost confidence from Raya being in goal.
Yeah,
Um,
what's your opinion on your goalkeeping situation? Because I think it's
mm,
an odd one. Um,
yeah, my opinion is like I don't know. Raya wasn't he wasn't my priority. He wasn't needed per se. We could have been fine this season with Ramsdale, right? No one went into lot this season saying Arsenal need the goalkeeper. Ramsdale had a decent, good season last season. Got team of the year. He did let us down in moments. And what I did always feel with Ramsdale was he let some soft goals in, man. I didn't think he was too bad with his feet. I know he had the mistake at Southampton, but I'll just see goals go in near post. Like I'm just like that is come on, man, save that. So it's just weird because Arteta put so much stock in Ramsdale, getting rid of Leno and not keeping Martinez the year before to get Ramsdale. And Arteta's, what is it?
I said no, it's Raya.
Yeah, exactly. And you watch the All or Nothing documentary, and Arteta, it seems like when he likes a player, he trusts a player, he really has his favourites, and Ramsdale looked like one of them.
Yeah,
So I was shocked, to be fair, when I saw we were in for Raya. But I will say Raya is better than Ramsdale. Like, you watch the two, I think Raya is better. And because obviously there's this, it's a shocking move. So everything Raya does is going to be over scrutinized, and he has made his mistakes. But even with that, I do watch Raya and think I can tell he's better. Like as much as I like Ramsdale, he seems like a guy who really gives his all. He seems like he really has embraced the club, really embraced the fans. Raya is a better keeper, and the stats show it as well. Like the stat, if you look into the expected whatever, Raya's better than Ramsdale on all of them. And if you look at last season, Ramsdale's shot prevention was poor. It was poor, man, and Raya's was quite good. So it's unfortunate for Ramsdale. I like him, but Raya's the number one man, and he's had good moments. People think he's had terrible moments. I mean, the same against Tottenham was great. But my thing is like I don't like emphasizing transfers like getting Jorginho, getting Raya, all these players in the first third of the pitch. Like it's the final third where I think Arsenal are actually lacking at the moment.
hmm
So yeah, man, that's kind of gone over a bit of tangent there, but that's what I'd say with our keeping situation. Outside looking in, how's it look to you?
yeah. Also looking in, it's confusing because I think it's similar to Chelsea's situation in which I don't think either goalkeepers are fantastic or they're goalkeepers that are probably gonna maybe win in the league per se. And I think Raya, he's probably better than Ramsdale. I think I don't know if you've seen it, the one that Ramsdale was talking about how he gets distracted and blah blah blah. So I think he doesn't really help himself as well. I do think each of them have errors in them, but I don't think Arteta was right in terms of trying to buy two number ones for competition. Because I think goalkeeper is probably one of the only positions that you can't be switching in and out. And it's one of those positions where if you lack confidence, it's going to affect the team probably more than outfield players because you want to rely on your keeper, especially with shots and things like that. And if they don't have confidence in themselves because they keep getting chopped and changed and like, oh, if I make this mistake, if I don't parry it out properly, I'm probably going to be replaced next match. I think it creates an unnecessary pressure. But yeah, in my opinion, I think one of them probably go in the summer, and it's going to be Ramsdale.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think you said it right. Like Raya's better, but we weren't signing Neuer, prime Neuer, bro. Like if you're gonna upgrade the position, upgrade it, bro.
Exactly.
Like make it like so it's not doubtful all that Raya's better than Ramsdale or this player's better than that player. But because it's still in doubt, I don't know. Like yes, Raya's a little bit better, but you got to think. I think squad cohesion is important as well, and you saw the players at the end of the game really getting around Ramsdale, bigging him up. He's obviously liked in the club, so I don't know, man. I think over time will pass, and as you said, one of them will leave. I think Ramsdale. I wouldn't be surprised in January, to be honest, if he
Mm.
goes. I think he'll be pushing for a move, you know. But yeah, weird one, weird one. Arteta's a weird. He's a weird manager, to be honest. Like he's a weird manager. He loves to have a mask on, I'd say. But yeah, we'll move on to the debate point. Yeah, England, right? England forwards, because obviously there's a big controversy over Sterling not being picked in the last few squads. Now I've got. Let me just read you some of the stats of the England forwards this season. So Sterling, starting with him, he's got 5 goals this season, 1 assist. Anthony Gordon, 5 goals, 3 assists. Jack Grealish, 0 goals, 1 assist. Rashford, 2 goals, 2 assists. Saka, 4 goals, 5 assists. Foden, 3 goals, 3 assists. Cole Palmer, 4 goals, 2 assists. Watkins, 8 goals, 5 assists. I don't have Jared Bowen stats. I should have had them, but I think he's got 6 goals and a few
Yeah,
assists.
he's got a few goals.
But 7 forwards are making the plane. It's probably going to be 7 forwards. You're going to have 3 goalkeepers, probably going to have 8 defenders, 2 fullbacks, 4 centre backs, 2 fullbacks per position, and then 5 midfielders.
So,
So let's pick the 7 forwards, yeah, for
yeah,
England. Go Euros as of now. And it probably won't change that much between now and the end of the season. So obviously starting off, Kane, should he should
yeah,
probably be in there.
maybe we'll consider it. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll consider
we'll
Kane.
consider it.
He's a wild card, of
Yeah,
course. Another goal on the weekend, he's
yeah.
in there. Um,
Saka, I
would
think,
Saka,
guaranteed.
yeah. I
Um,
was thinking those are the two certainties
yeah,
in my opinion.
I think those are the only two that you know for a fact. But then
Yeah.
again, it is Southgate and his decision. So I think Rashford would be a given to go. I
Do you
don't see him.
would you take him?
Would I take him? Unless I'll see how the end of the season is. But currently, right now, I probably wouldn't. Um, but then again, a lot of things might change in the season. So right at this moment, I don't think I would. I
Yeah,
think if it comes to it and there's probably 6 players I'll take and probably he's there, then I'll take him. That's not disrespect to him, of course. He's a really good player on his day. But at the same time, I think this season he's been quite off it.
I agree. He has been off it. Rashford's a player I like a lot, by the way. I know his shortcomings, but I think his highs are really high.
Yeah.
Like, he can do certain things I don't think many players in world football can do, to be fair. The way he can strike a ball, the way he can get in behind, his pace. I think it's, even with Rashford's form right now, unless he absolutely carries on this form, finishes 2 goals, 2 assists, I think it's very difficult to
Yeah,
say Rashford doesn't go Euros. So Kane, Rashford, Saka, and that might even be the front three.
most likely.
Um, Now, Raheem Sterling.
I
Raheem
take him.
Sterling has to go, yeah?
I think he has to go. I think even if you're going away from Chelsea completely, I think what
Mm,
he's done for England as well, I think Euros, he always stands out. So I think he's probably someone that has to go as well. He's probably one. And when it comes to experience as well, he's done it all. I think you're not a decent player if you've played for Liverpool, City, and now Chelsea. Like, he's obviously been there, done that. So I think he has to go.
yeah, if you're just looking at those names, those 4 names jump. They jump at you as
Yeah,
the best 4. In terms, forget form, quality
yeah,
wise. So Sterling for me, yeah, I think he should definitely go as well. I mean, scoring free kicks now, Sterling. I never
exactly.
really. I think he scored one against Southampton a few years ago, but
Yeah,
yeah, Sterling, I think, has to go. Would you take a backup number 9 option? Because I'm not sure. Because I think Kane is going to play every game. So backup 9 option being potentially Watkins, Tony, or Callum Wilson. I think the days, unfortunately, of Tammy Abraham, I think they're over.
yeah, he's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely gone. But would you take a backup number 9? I don't think I would. I don't
Maybe.
know. Actually, we'll get onto the other forwards,
Mm.
but Yeah, an Ollie Watkins, let's say.
Potentially. Like I
Yeah,
see what he's doing obviously at Villa, so you can't disregard that. He could be a potential person that I'd take. Um, it wouldn't be a surprise if, like I said, apart from those four we mentioned, the rest is completely up for grabs in terms of now to the end of the season. I think he's probably marginally right now ahead of people the likes of Tony, because I think Tony hasn't played for quite a while right now. So unless he's having one of the best starts from Jan to, let's say, May, I think it'll be difficult for him to make it, in my opinion.
yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's big club tax potentially as well. I just think you want it's 23-man squad now.
Mm.
Before it was 26 in last year's and last World Cup. So places are thin. Everyone in that squad has to contribute, apart from maybe the backup keepers. You know, they're not
Yeah,
really going to make contributions. Let's be real. So if you're taking Ollie Watkins, well, you know he's never going to get minutes, or I don't know. I don't see the
who would you
point.
pick? Would you
In
pick
terms of
someone like
myself,
Callum Wilson this year?
backup striker.
Yeah.
Uh, if I was to take a backup striker, I think the best one to take is Ivan Tony because he's the most similar to Kane in terms
Mm.
of he's the best with his back to goal and linking up the play. I've seen Watkins for England, and I just don't think England play the same way Villa play. So it's not really you haven't really seen the best of him. And Callum Wilson, yeah, I like Callum Wilson, Fox in the box, but again, I don't think you know big game England v France and Kane for every reason's out. Don't know if I have confidence in Callum Wilson taking those shoes, but I think Tony has that man. I like Tony the most out of them.
Yeah, I do. I like Tony. I think he's really good. But I think my only thing is because of the fact he's been laid off for so long. I
Mm.
think he has to have like a essentially perfect start. That could come if he moves, let's say in Jan, because I know Arsenal want him. I think Chelsea potentially want him. I think Tottenham. If he does move, I think it'll boost his chances to a certain extent because big club tax. I think if you're going there and you're rolling right now, 9 times out of 10 you'll be looked at more, and they'll be like, "Oh wow, you're scoring, you're doing this." So I think that'll boost his chances. I think if he does stay at Brentford, no disrespect to Brentford, it'll be harder for him because he'll need to be scoring consistently. And at Brentford, I don't think he's going to get now, let's say Jan till May, to have that opportunity because he also needs to have that full fitness. He has to have that integration period. So yeah, it'd be a difficult one for him. But
I agree. It's a shame, man, because Tony's sick, man, and he's not necessarily the youngest player. So I don't know if he'll get this chance again in 4 years'
it's true.
time. Okay, so we got the four forwards: Rashford, Kane, Saka, and Sterling.
Yeah,
Back up. We're taking the backup nine, yeah.
yeah, we'll take it back up on that.
Okay, and it's going to be Watkins, yeah.
We'll say Watkins.
Okay,
It should
yeah.
be Tony. Should be Tony. So it
Should be Tony, but
should be
I will say
Tony. Yeah,
Watkins. Two slots left, and I've named Foden, Grealish, Palmer, and Jarrett Bowen. Is there anyone else I haven't named potentially?
no,
I don't think so.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Going forward, no. I mean, Emil Smith Rowe's not going not
Yeah,
to go. so, yeah,
yeah, making it. So yeah, I think
yeah,
in
he's not
four
making.
times, that's it.
All right, Jarrett Bowen, right? He's had a great start at West Ham. I often feel he's an overlooked player, but is he making the 23-man play?
That's the thing.
My thing
um,
with Bowen, yeah, is he's a right winger, isn't it? So in terms of because we already got Saka and Rashford for the left, maybe him for the right, but because I think he's a more natural right winger than Foden. But then Foden's Foden. He
yeah,
plays for Man City.
yeah.
You do want to take your players who are playing for big clubs. I do think that means
That's
something.
that's what I'm saying
High
because
level.
similar to what you mentioned as well when it comes to, let's say, the pressure. Yeah, he's doing well right now. West Ham, but it's like, okay, if he's the Euros and he's starting, let's say, like you said, against France or something like that, is he going to perform the same way he performed against West Ham? And that's the question. We don't know. And yeah, as much as Foden might not be great right at this moment, but he plays for City. He's won, is it 4 league titles, 5 league titles, and he's like
Yeah,
21,
five,
22. So yeah,
four, five.
like it's,
Yeah.
yeah, five. So I think you can't obviously disregard that when you're putting someone through. And it's like with Bowen, I think he's obviously 26 now. He does have the experience, but it's like, does he have that, let's say, big setting experience constantly to have that pressure of, okay, yeah, this is my national team. I'm starting. I have to perform. How's it going to be?
Yeah. And again, he hasn't looked great in the England shirt so far, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's not been easy for him. He's not had a run of games. Whereas, if I'm honest, Foden's had a run of games. He's not done much for England. I think Foden's very lucky, to be honest, man. The more I think about it, like his credit in the bank's not that much.
Yeah,
Like,
but
so
yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's why I was saying, even with what we're picking as well, when we look at the perspective of the manager in charge, it's like these players are certain. Let's say, for example, we both know Maguire's going.
yeah, yeah.
So there's certain players we know that
Starting as well.
exactly. There's
You
certain,
know what? It even kind of makes sense. Like he is good for England.
yeah, he's good for England, but even if he wasn't playing at all this whole season, he'll still be playing in Euros. So it's like
Exactly.
certain players, it doesn't matter how they perform. Even
Yeah,
Foden, you can have a 4 out of 10, and he's still going to play for England. So that's what I
not gonna
think.
lie. I want to take. I actually want to take Cole Palmer, man. I feel like he is actually made for this sort of stage. If I look at him and Grealish, I know they're different wings. I think Palmer's definitely going to give me more, to be honest. I see what Grealish gives you. Like you shouldn't look at goals and assists with Grealish, but I don't love what he gives you, man. I don't love the fact that he's a winger that just retains the play. I think you can have a whole lot more from that from your winger. I think Doku's shown that. So I personally, there's balance though because they're different wings.
Mm.
In terms of our sixth forward, I'm putting Palmer forward. You know.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think if he continues the way he is, because right at this moment we can't even lie, he's probably the standout player when you look at Chelsea. So I think if he continues like this, there's no reason why he can't, let's say, make it ahead of certain other players. Let's say Grealish.
Yeah, nah,
Uh,
I agree.
for someone to score in the final minute against your old team, it takes a lot.
Yeah, I literally, and do that celebration as well. Things like that as well. So yeah, that's serious, man.
The final spot.
Final spot. I haven't talked about Anthony Gordon, who's got 5 goals, 3 assists. Great goal yesterday, I must say, against you lot. Um, does Anthony Gordon go coming off the back of winning the under 21s Euro as well, where he was good? And often people say the problem with these national teams is that they don't bring forward their players who played so well in their youth teams. Um, do I take him? Do I take Foden? Do I take Bowen? Or do I take Grealish? Look, despite what I've said about him, for now I take Foden.
You have
Yeah.
to.
For now I take Foden because Foden can play on left as well, so that solves that kind of imbalance potentially. Can also play in the midfield. Um, Technically, he's a better player than the others. He's one of England's technically best players as well. I think off the bench would do more. To be honest, he would do more than a Gordon or a Grealish. But can I see Southgate leaving out Grealish? I don't
That's what I was
know.
going to say. I don't see Southgate. I don't see Southgate
No, I don't know. I don't
dropping.
know. He won't. Even though at one point when Grealish was at Villa, it seemed like it was impossible for him to be in the squad. Now it's like
Yeah.
he's in the squad no matter what. But one thing is for sure, he shouldn't be in the squad over Sterling. Like
No.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's and
Like
it's like when he was like, "Oh, I don't know who to drop to pick Sterling," but it's like Sterling's done a whole lot. I don't think
exactly.
him not going Euros. I think that'd be criminal.
Yeah. So what we called on that 7? Yeah, Kane, Watkins, Saka, Rashford, Sterling, Palmer, and Foden. Yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously it comes to it, the only person that is 50-50 will probably be Watkins for Grealish. I think that's probably the only one that we could interchange later on. But yeah,
You,
for
th- you think
seven,
you think Palmer defo go?
I think if Palmer continues the way he's playing at Chelsea right now, I think 100% he's going. I think that and media hype as well. I think there's no way he won't go. I think he'll go
Yeah. Nah, I agree. To be honest, I think the media will get on board with Cole Palmer.
100%.
Look, he can be scoring all the penalties he wants, man. But it's all right. I don't know. I
Exactly.
watched
You can
the
score 10 penalties. I don't mind.
game. Yeah, I watched the game, man. And bro, you never know, penalty shootout. You'll need that. You'll need that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've touched on a lot this episode. We're gonna wrap it up there. It's Favour. Thanks for coming on the show, Streets. Don't forget your debut, and you're definitely gonna be back on. Probably get you back in the studio at some point.
For sure.
Um,
Anytime.
Yeah, man.
Win, win, win.
Guys, yeah, if you've made it to the end, please give us a like, give us a rating on the Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen to this. Instagram, follow us, look at the socials, look at the clips we're putting out, engage. And yeah, until next time, guys, Streets Won't Forget podcast, and we're out. Take care.
Take care.